Thank you. I move the motion. The UK has just concluded a trial of a personal carbon dioxide allowance, which, as the name implies, calculates how much carbon dioxide is produced annually in the UK and then divides that per person per day, then works out by how much that figure needs to fall in order to meet net zero goals. We have the white paper in my office that informed the trial. The whole concept of a daily carbon dioxide allowance is now out there for all to see. Conspiracy theory no more. I bloody told you so. To anyone who is advised by data and empirical evidence, not mass formation psychosis, carbon dioxide is the gas of life, necessary for all life on Earth. It's plant food. The more CO2 produced, the more food, plants and trees the Earth is blessed with. The climate change scam is not founded on science, it's founded on feelings. It has become a religion for those who consider themselves above religion, and increasingly amongst those who could do with having some religion in their lives. Australia's agricultural sector, rural communities, $100 billion of agricultural production and hundreds of thousands of jobs are about to be sacrificed on the altar of climate fraud. Driven by globalist politicians, directed by parasitic billionaires who will benefit from this criminal enterprise, including Coca-Cola, who sponsored the trial. Coca-Cola is the world's largest producer of plastic, 120 billion single-use plastic bottles each year, holding their toxic sludge and producing 15 million tonnes of carbon dioxide. So their support for this white paper and trial is nothing short of greenwashing. Coca-Cola's leading shareholders are Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway, as well as BlackRock, Vanguard and State Street. These wealth funds invest on behalf of the world's predatory billionaires who will profit from a carbon dioxide allowance. This is in the open, following the admission last week by British Prime Minister Starmer that farmland being stolen from British farmers via taxation extortion will be purchased by corporate partners, including BlackRock. I wonder if this is what Prime Minister Albanese spoke about in his recent meeting with BlackRock CEO Larry Fink. What is the future for Australian food producers under this crony capitalist dystopian agenda headed our way? Red meat is top of the hit list. The methane cycle means cows do not produce methane in a way that remains in the atmosphere. I'll return to that point in a minute. Nonetheless, this trial used a figure for red meat carbon dioxide production of 100 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent, which equals 100 grams of carbon dioxide for every 1 gram of meat. Quick maths means your daily food allowance of 2,600 grams of carbon dioxide would be enough to buy 26 grams of red meat, one mouthful, and then eat nothing else that day. I raised this years ago in this chamber when the World Economic Forum first called for a limit on red meat of 30 grams a day. Another conspiracy theory that's come true. A cooked breakfast will have to be half the size to squeeze into your daily allowance, again with nothing left over for food for the rest of the day. Your daily allowance will cover 2 plant-based meals a day because predatory billionaires like BlackRock and Bill Gates are buying up farmland to grow the cereals and soy needed for plant-based meals. So not surprisingly, the whole thing is rigged towards the products they can exploit for their own financial gain, including plant-based fake meat, which contains 20 chemical ingredients. Most are shared with pet food. The nutrition profile is not even close to the nutrition profile of natural foods like red meat and dairy. Speaking of dairy, don't wash your yummy plant burger down with a glass of milk. Well, you can't. 1 glass of milk is your entire food budget for the day, with just enough left over for the coffee to go in it. The hypocrisy here was on display to everyone at last week's COP29 meeting for the UN in Baku, where the area dedicated to meat-based foods was packed and the one dedicated to plant-based foods was empty. The World Economic Forum at Davos has hosted speakers calling for this system to include carbon dioxide credit trading, so rich people can live their lives exactly as they do right now, and poor people can skimp on food, clothing, travel, electricity and entertainment and sell their excess credits to rich people. The rules never apply to the people that make them. The war on livestock is a war on good nutrition based on a lie, which is designed to enrich billionaires. 150 nations signed the Global Methane Pledge without even bothering to check if the methane was man-made. Methane from fossil fuels has a higher carbon-13 isotope ratio, and even though hydrocarbon fuels use was rising, the carbon-13 levels of atmospheric methane are falling. Microbes in the environment drove methane emissions more than hydrocarbon fuels between 2020 and 2022. That's a pretty big deal. Methane was supposedly caused about 30% of our current temperature rise, says the broken climate models. Yet 90% of that recent rise was nature's microbes, not cattle. The whole big brother of every aspect of our lives is based on fake science on carbon dioxide and methane.
Senator